Hey guys, Aaron CybertronVGC here, and today we are kicking off Series 5 of VGC 2020. Super excited now that we can finally play competitive games in the online ladder, and to kick things off, I'm just going to be using the Beat Up team that I featured a few Showdown episodes ago, as well as in that best of 3 against Wolfe, so feel free to try out the team yourselves. Go check out the best of 3 I had against Wolfe. I haven't seen already. It was a really fun one, and I'm just excited to see what Series 5 brings because there's so many new Pokemon and strategies. So yeah, let's just jump right into things. This is a rental team. Thank you to RobRaf for actually building the team in-game for me. There's a Showdown export in the description below as well if you want to try out the team yourselves. And yeah, let's just jump right into things. Question of the day, with Series 5 just kicking off, I'm curious what you guys have thought about it so far. Have you played it at all? What do you think about the format? Have you tried out any new strategies? What are you enjoying? What are you disliking? Let me know all of that good stuff in the comments below, and let's just get this episode started. As always, if you guys enjoy, please show support by leaving a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you as always for coming out and watching the content that I've been putting out. I know I haven't done Road to Ranked in about like almost 2 weeks now, just because I wanted to preview some of what Series 5 would look like, but now we can finally play in-game once again, so super excited about it. Alright, first game of the day, we are up against kind of a classic rain team here. This one is Urshifu, so this is definitely a Cobalion game, without a doubt. The only question is how I want to approach bringing it out. As you guys have seen, how I approach rain is actually typically Whimsicott and the Amoonguss with Cobalion in the back. I think that's actually very solid here for us. The last question is really who do I want to bring as my 4th Pokemon. I think Dragapult's actually pretty interesting here because under Tailwind we have a Draco Meteor that's really strong, and it gives us another beat-up option outside of just Whimsicott. Chandelure into Rain is pretty sketchy, I think, and then Terrakion just really doesn't like this matchup when I have to deal with Intimidate from Incineroar, Grassy Surge, Rillaboom, as well as Rain. So yeah, I'm going to put all my eggs in the Cobalion basket, but I think in a matchup like this, Cobalion just should theoretically sweep through everything. It has max Airstream for the Rillaboom. You know, we can obviously get some pretty powerful max Knuckles off. If you guys watched the Showdown episodes I played with this team, though, I think this actually reminds me a lot of that one matchup against Rain that I didn't play super well against, and that's because the +4, I think, like max Knuckle didn't KO Kingdra. So one thing I want to be careful about in this matchup in general is just like making sure that I get a knockout every turn when I Dynamax Cobalion. Because I'm not leading Whimsicott Cobalion, the idea is to maybe first stall out their Dynamax, put some things to sleep, and then finally get the Cobalion sweep in the late game. I think when people see Beat Up in this format, they often think, oh, like, you're just going to beat up on turn 1, and you do have to respect that, but the way I like playing with Cobalion is actually stalling out my opponent's Dynamax and then going from there. It's going to be Raichu and Incineroar. Okay, that's a very solid lead here for my opponent, actually. I mean, you threaten with double Fake Out, and there's obviously Intimidate pressure as well, but turn 1, I'm honestly fine just double protecting. Yeah, you know, block out their Fake Out basically, and then turn 2 I can just go for a Spore. Could even just go straight for like a switch out into Cobalion and Beat Up. So we definitely have our options, but I think just double protecting turn 1 is fine. Scouts out for what they want to do. It's really interesting they brought both Incineroar and Raichu because those are not the heavy hitters on that team, right? I would think you want Rillaboom in the back for the Terrakion especially. So then it's like, is Urshifu your last one? Did you not go with Rain at all? I don't know. But either way, this is a solid lead for my opponent. This does put on some pressure on turn 1 because, like, as you guys see, my Amoonguss is not exactly, like, the bulkiest. I might actually switch out to Dragapult this next turn, honestly, and just go for, like, Moonblast onto the Raichu. Because here I think you want to, like, Flare Blitz into Amoonguss. But yeah, they just double Fake Out turn 1. Now, this next turn is interesting, right? Do you go for, like, you want to KO the Amoonguss, right? So, like, Flare Blitzing is pretty safe. So, like, that's why I want to switch out in a Dragapult and actually Moonblast the Raichu, because then what that allows me to do the subsequent turn is go for Tailwind, and as soon as Whimsicott goes down, I can just go for the Beat Up onto myself. I don't know how offensive the Incineroar is, which is why I'm making this switch out. Now, my opponent could obviously capitalize and, like, double up on the Whimsicott here, but I do think you have to respect the Spore possibility, so I don't anticipate them going for a double up onto the Whimsicott. Even if they do, we'll break Raichu's potential Focus Sash, and if it is Sash, then Draco Meteor should just KO it. Based off this Moonblast damage, we'll see whether it's Assault Vest or not. But if it is Sash, then yeah, Draco just can KO the subsequent turns. Yeah, pretty good damage. Reflect comes out. Okay. I gotta say, I didn't expect that as an option, but that's fine. And it's just gonna be Flare Blitz. So yeah, this is totally okay with me, regardless of who Flare Blitz is targeting. It goes into Dragapult, which is exactly what we want to see. Because now what we can do, we get burnt, but yeah, us being special helps us here. Now what we can do is just go for a... do we even need a Tailwind? Yeah, actually, I don't see much value in Tailwinding this first turn, right? Like, considering Moonblast is a 2-hit KO on the Raichu, why not just Moonblast and Draco Meteor here, and then Tailwind the next turn to get an extra turn of Tailwind? The only way this doesn't work is if they have Feint on the Raichu, or any Prio attack, and then double up onto the Whimsicott, but I think the odds of that are relatively unlikely, especially because the Raichu's revealed Reflect as well. I mean, I feel like you want at least one attacking move, and then Nuzzle. That's like the moves that I would run on Raichu personally, especially if you're leading Raichu against this team. I feel like Nuzzle plus an attack would make a lot of sense. So I don't think he'll have Feint. So we should do a hefty amount with Moonblast. I mean, Moonblast should KO the Raichu. Draco should do a fair amount into the Incineroar. Raichu actually switches out, and that's going to be, I think, Rillaboom? Okay. Yeah, so really interesting Pokemon choices so far. But Cobalion looks incredible right now. Like, we don't even necessarily need Tailwind, to be honest. So I'll get Draco off. We're basically setting ourselves up for Cobalion right now, right? So pretty solid damage there. Considering we don't have any investment on this Dragapult. And it's Citrus on the Incin. Okay. I mean, it's probably Flare Blitz here into Whimsicott. But we're distributing damage across the board right now, which is pretty good. That doesn't look like Assault Vest, but I can't say for sure. I guess what makes this next turn interesting is, do you just go for like the Grassy Glide or the Fake Out? Because like what I want to do here is probably switch the Whimsicott out. Because I still need to get a Beat Up buff to win this, I think. And obviously the Rillaboom exerts Fake Out pressure into us right now. So I have options. The play I'm leaning towards is honestly just switching the Whimsicott out into Cobalion and just going for a Beat Up immediately. Because I think it's relatively unlikely you're going to target the Whimsicott here with an attack from the Incineroar. Even if you do, like, I guess the only problem is if you Flare Blitz us. So this play's like a little risky, but I do feel like I need to put my foot on the pedal right now. And if we call this turn correctly, I think we just win the game instantly, basically. Okay, they're going to go for Grassy Glide. That's fine. Yep, Cobalion takes that, no problem. The only question is, did my opponent double up with Grassy Glide and Flare Blitz? That would be a really nice play on their end. Okay. If not, though, and they targeted the Dragapult here, like, then I think Cobalion just fully sweeps now. There's no way around it, basically, for my opponent, because, like, we'll be able to get Tailwind up as well with Whimsicott. So, we're in good shape right now. Okay. Let's see, did you Flare Blitz into that slot as well? Nope, Darkest Lariat, that's what we want to see. That should be going to Dragapult. So that's kind of what I was hoping to bait out from my opponent. Perfect. Alright, that's exactly what we want. Because now, we are in great shape. We can bring out the Amoonguss. Yeah, the question is who I want to target in this next turn. We're probably going to max the Cobalion at this point, I think. Yeah, so we can bring out Amoonguss. I can either go for... I mean, the other question is, do they actually have Burning Jealousy? Like, what I'm leaning towards, just max Steel Spike here, get the defense boost, and then just Spore into Incineroar. That seems pretty good. I just don't know if +4 Steel Spike KOs the Rillaboom, but it doesn't look super bulky, so I would think so. So I haven't clicked Tailwind in this game, but I don't think I really needed to be honest. We can still have a late game Tailwind as well. So, I mean, the big question is, what's my opponent's last Pokemon? Is it Urshifu? I mean, regardless, my Cobalion will outspeed everything, right? Because you won't have Kingdra in Rain in this matchup now. So, by going for the Steel Spike here, I get the defense boost. It means Amoonguss can definitely survive a Flare Blitz no matter how offensive that Incineroar is. Get a Spore off, which means effectively my opponent's only playing with one Pokemon at a time. The only fear here is if Rillaboom survives. I guess you could max the Rillaboom, but that's not really scaring me too much. And they stay in with both, which is fine by me. Yeah, if Amoonguss were faster, like I had speed investment into, I could have gone for Airstream Spore. But I'd rather just get the defense boost here, especially because my opponent... Like, I mean, once again, the big question is, who do you max now if you're my opponent, right? I think it's the Urshifu in the back. Like, that's my best bet. Okay, so no protects, no switches, no maxes. We just get a big Steel Spike off. Okay, picks up the KO. Very nice. More importantly, gives us that defense boost. So even if you're going for, like, a Flare Blitz into Cobalion, we'll take it pretty well. So Rillaboom's out the way. Yep, it's just going to be Flare Blitz, but no crit, which means we are in great shape. If we don't get burned, it's going to be very hard for my opponent to win this, and no burn comes out perfect. So a crit or a burn there could have been pretty scary. Obviously, the odds are in my favor there, but it's still is not like 100% guaranteed safe play. So I don't know. I mean, if I wanted to make a safer play, I could have just gone for follow me there, but I figured the risk versus reward was worth it because now I think it's very difficult for my opponent to win this one. You're gonna have, I think Urshifu should be the last one, if I had to guess. Okay, so Raichu comes out, which is fine by me. I'm just gonna go for Knuckle here. I think is fine onto Raichu and the Rage Powder. The Rage Powder just covers you going for Nuzzle. Reflect is up, right? How many turns of Reflect are left? There's only one turn. I wonder if it's like Light Clay Raichu. That could be interesting. But yeah, I think it's fine to just Rage Powder and Knuckle here. Urshifu should be the last one, so then we could just Airstream on our last turn. And since we're faster than Urshifu anyway, they're just going to go for Fake Out, which is fine by me. Yep. We know Incineroar has to take a guaranteed turn of sleep here. So, I mean, honestly, like, Cobalion just 1v6 is my opponent's team. That's what it looked like in Team Preview. Just curious on what the other moves on the Raichu were. We've seen Fake Out, we saw the Reflect. Like I said, I would assume Nuzzle. But now we have +5 attack with Cobalion, so we can just Airstream into Urshifu this next turn and follow me, or Rage Powder with the Amoonguss. The Cobalion's actually healing from the grassy terrain, which is nice as well. I mean, like, depending on what they bring in, like, if Urshifu comes out and they max, I don't know, we could, like, Pollen Puff ourselves, which also could be really nice. But the important thing to consider when playing with this team is that, like, all my eggs are in the Cobalion basket, so I have to protect it, right? Because if this thing gets burnt or gets crit or gets KO'd, we just lose the game instantly, basically. Yep, it's Urshifu is the last one. Okay, that's cool. It's the water one. I think it's fine. Like, obviously, I want to Airstream here into the Urshifu. But they might max, right? So it's actually safer, I think, to just go for a Knuckle onto the Incineroar and just Rage Powder here. Yeah, because, like, if I'm my opponent, I'm thinking I max the Urshifu and then max guard. And if I Airstream and whiff... Okay, well, they actually end up just forfeiting, but I think they actually still had a chance of winning. Because if I'm my opponent, what I'm hoping for is to max guard there, Flare Blitz into the Amoonguss, like, wake up with the Incineroar. Because then I don't have bounce anymore, although I still have close combat, but maybe Urshifu with max can take a +5 close combat. So the idea behind that play was, like, Incineroars don't really carry Protect very often, right? So I can Knuckle there, safely get a KO. The Urshifu targets the Amoonguss. It shouldn't KO us because we have that defense boost regardless of if it's maxing or not. And then we have Cobalion at +6 attack with Reflect gone. We can just go for, like, Rage Powder close combat the subsequent turn. So that, my friends, is Cobalion at its finest. We are going up against a hard Trick Room team here. I mean, this was pretty much the Trick Room team I made, but with Escavalier over Alakazam, which I actually think is a really, really good change. And I think Escavalier is going to be a very strong Pokemon. So last time we played against Trick Room stuff, what happened? I realized that Terrakion Channeler with Rock Slide Heat Wave doesn't get the KO. And I figured that the Cobalion route was probably a little bit better. However, if I go Whimsicott Cobalion, I'm basically conceding Trick Room going up. The other question is also, does my opponent respect the Chandelure here, right? Because, like, with the Chandelure lead, a lot of times players might be scared to go for Trick Room. I could also go Chandelure Cobalion. Yeah, I just know that Heat Wave Rock Slide's not a guaranteed KO onto the hat, which is my main fear, right? Now, Amoonguss is still good in this late game, though. Which is what I want to lead with. Because, like, you're probably going to deny the beat-up stuff. Honestly, maybe we just go Chandelure Cobalion. Amoonguss in the back. And for the last one, Terrakion's actually compelling, but maybe we could get a beat-up off. Yeah, I'm not sure I like the hard Trick Room matchup super, like, a lot here. So, I don't know. If my opponent hasn't seen this team before, they might be worried and respect the Imprison turn 1, which is what I'm hoping, and just go for Expanding Force on Hat. That's ideal. Otherwise, my play is definitely to just, like, Heat Wave Steel Spike turn 1. Actually, maybe I don't max. No, I probably still want to max. Yeah, it is just Hat NDD. Alright. So, let's see if yeah, there's enough respect for Imprison here, basically. I'm definitely clicking Heat Wave here. Because I think the NDD pretty much always goes for Follow Me. Okay. Yep, it's Psychic Seed. That's not shocking. Although the Psychic Seed might mean it probably can take a Heat Wave and a Steel Spike here. But I don't think there's really a better play, and the hope here is that they end up going for Expanding Force, expecting me to have Imprison. So I'm just going to Heat Wave and Steel Spike into the Hat here. And in the off chance they don't follow me, I mean, we can just KO Hat, but I think the safe play from my opponent's end, if they expect Imprison Chandelier, is to follow me Expanding Force turn 1. And the riskier play is to just click Trick Room anyway. Which I could totally see them going for, especially if they've seen this team at all, which, you know, has been making the rounds on the internet, so we'll see. But with the Moongus in the back, like, I feel okay. The main thing is that we basically need to KO the Hat. Whoa, they didn't go for Follow Me. Now that, I have to say, I wasn't expecting at all. I mean, they were probably double Expanding Forcing, which makes sense, but this is great. We KO Hat, get a defense boost. Getting rid of Hat's really important because that's the one thing that gives our Amoongus trouble. So that's a very good start to the game. I'm sure it's Expanding Force coming out from Indy right now. It's going to do a ton of damage, but I'll take it, all things considered. It means Trick Room doesn't go up, so I'm happy to see that. And yeah, I think my opponent was just expecting the Imprison, so they were like, oh, Chandelier's not going to damage us. If they had the Sash on the Hat, that makes even more sense, right? Because then you basically trade Chandelier for nothing. But that ends up working out quite nicely for us as Porygon 2 comes out. Okay. Does have a download boost, does get a special attack boost. That's fine. I mean, I'm just going to Heat Wave here again. My eggs are on the Cobalion basket though, right? So I really need to pick up KOs sooner than later. I mean, I don't want to give my opponent a free switch in, and Trick Room should be going up. So I honestly want to just hard switch into a Moongus right now. That doesn't like taking Expanding Force here though, right? So I guess I could just Heat Wave and Knuckle. I just really want the free switch in into a Moongus. So the question is, do you follow me here? I think you might just Expanding Force, honestly. Yeah, I'm just going to Heat Wave Knuckle. I want to do less damage, and I think maybe NDD survives if I Heat Wave Knuckle. Okay. Actually, I didn't even try. Yeah, since they didn't even follow me, this is good. Yeah, because then this should mean NDD KOs us, which means we get the free switch into Moongus, which is exactly what I need right now. It should be Marowak as my opponent's last Pokemon, that's my guess. So dealing damage to Marowak actually could still be really tough. Like, it means I need a Stone Edge, basically, which isn't super great. But, yeah, this should be good now. Trick Room goes up. Yeah. The only problem is that we only have one turn of Max left, so I'm not really getting any mileage out of my Max against my opponent's Maxmon. Now I wish I had Terrakion as the last one instead, but Amoongus should help us a lot here. And I guess with Cobalion, like, we could still go for a late-game beat-up, potentially. We just need to put the Marowak to sleep. But here, I think I'm just going to go for Spore. Actually, do I need a Spore? Yeah, Spore just covers the NDD going for Expanding Force. And I probably want to just go for a Steel Spike. Or another Knuckle to KO Porygon. Although, actually, we don't want to KO Porygon, because then NDD can just redirect my attack away. So it's actually probably best to just go for a Steel Spike here onto the NDD. Because the Amoongus is going to outspeed my opponent's Marowak. Okay. So we ended up kind of like wasting a Spore this turn, but that's honestly totally okay with me. Is it okay, actually? I guess Porygon's Ice Beam is going to do a ton here to us. Maybe that wasn't worth, actually. We are max HP Spadef, though. Alright, that's not a 2-hit KO. That's good. Okay. Yeah, ND stays asleep. So I do feel like that play was kind of necessary, because now what I can do this next turn is just go Spore into the Marowak and KO the Porygon. And then it's basically playing with sleep turns. This is also assuming Marowak's my opponent's last one. I totally could be a Scavalier, actually. Wait, that would be such a good last mon. I don't think I respected a Scavalier enough. Now that I think about it, I kind of hard lose to that. So let's see if it is a Scavalier. I feel like it should... Okay, it ends up being Marowak, which is probably the Pokemon I prefer to see, because I don't have much to hit a Scavalier, but with Cobalion, like, this thing's pretty boosted. I probably should have Knuckled this last turn. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a Spore right now into Marowak and just a Iron Head, I think, into Porygon. Yeah, this is why Amoongus is on this team. I mean, one of the many reasons, but having redirection support for, Spore pressure against Trick Room teams is actually really important. So, because Ice Beam's on a 2-hit KO, I think we're in good shape here. We should outspeed the Marowak, we should get a Spore off. And Iron Head should KO the Porygon. So then it's a 3v1, but once again, we don't have any damage outside of Cobalion, so I still need to make sure I protect Cobalion accordingly. I think if Marowak takes more than a one-turn sleep, we probably have this game locked up. But let's see. Okay, yeah, they're not going to protect, so we'll get the Spore off, which is great. I was thinking they might protect there, but yeah, it's better to just max the Marowak immediately, I think. Should survive an Ice Beam here. Oh, they go for Recover. Oh, because of that, actually, I should have close combated. Yeah, I really thought they were just going to click Ice Beam there. That's a very good Recover. I should have just clicked close combat. That was a bad play on my end. Okay. There's only 2 turns of Trick Room left, which is obviously good. This is actually really intense now, because, like, obviously I Spore the Porygon, but I just lose against Marowak if, like, I have to play safe with Cobalion. I can't risk the 1-turn wake, I think. If I were to play safe, it means I'd have to Rage Powder. Or I could just gamble and hope they stay asleep for another turn. I mean, if they do stay asleep for another turn, I think we win. So, yeah, I'm just going to go for this. It's not great because I'm gambling on the 2-turn sleep. But they might target a Mungus anyway. If I had Terrakion on this in the back, this game would be a lock. I should have also close combated last turn. That was a big mistake. But Marowak stays asleep. Okay. I don't know. It doesn't feel great there, though. Like, we win the majority of the time, but it's still, like... If it wakes up and it does correctly target Cobalion, we just instantly lose, right? But now what I can do is just go for Rage Powder. So even if the Marowak wakes up, it's fine. I mean, Cobalion could still miss its attack, so this game isn't locked up yet. But, yeah, we won this off the first turn. Like, the Trick Room matchup isn't amazing, so you kind of have to, like, come up with some clever solutions, which is why I had Chandelure on this team, kind of just to bait the, I'm just gonna Rage Powder Stone Edge here. Yeah, the Chandelure is on the team solely to bait, basically, my opponent into thinking I have Imprison. Because, like, that is typically the Trick Room counter, right? Like, how many Chandelures do you see without Imprison? Okay, Marowak does end up waking up. It's going to go for a Flare. It's going to KO Mungus, but that's fine. That's exactly why we Rage Powder. We still need to hit 2 Stone Edges to win this. Actually, maybe just 1, because, like, missing this one is fine, because, like, a beat up plus Stone Edge should KO Marowak the next turn anyway, but if we miss, we lose. But it looks like this one's going to connect, which is nice. Honestly, not that much damage, though. I mean, another one will KO, but I'm actually thinking, instead of risking Stone Edge, do I go for, like, Iron Head instead? Yeah, it's actually something to think about. Marowak also is going to have to Flare Blitz. It's going to take so much recoil damage. I don't know. I actually really don't want to risk missing. Because, like, at this point, Marowak's going to have to take... I guess you could... I actually think I don't risk the miss, and I just Moonblast and, like, Iron Head here. Yeah, because I think they're going to click Flare Blitz. I don't know. Obviously, the guarantee win here is just... Not the guarantee, but, like, beat up Stone Edge wins if we hit. But this is just so much guaranteed damage that I think this is fine. Especially because we have the attack boost, too. Yeah, I think this is okay. Nice. They do go for Boomerang. Okay. I think Cobalion even survives this after the defense boost. Oh, very close. But Marowak without priority means that 2 Moonblast should KO the Marowak, so yeah. I just figured we had enough guaranteed damage, and it's like, you have to click Flare Blitz. Or I was thinking you have to click Flare Blitz. Evidently that wasn't the case. Yeah, if you want to deal with the inaccurate attacks, which I think is actually correct in my opponent to go for. Okay, Marowak just protects, but it's fine. They're just stalling out, their own turns of Sun. Not that it makes a difference here. I guess you could PP stall the Moonblast, but it's not super relevant. Okay. Yeah, Moonblast here will finish the deal. Alright, not bad. This game definitely could have been a lot tougher, though. KOing the Hatterene is so important because, Trick Room going up doesn't scare me too much, but the main thing, and I think someone mentioned this in the comments, but yeah, Payapa Berry might make more sense on a Mungus solely for, the Trick Room matchups, right? Just because Hat Inity's everywhere, and Amoonguss beats Trick Room pretty hard, but it loses to Hat pretty hard. With Payapa, you can just guarantee that you survive and maybe get a Spore off against the partner Pokemon. I think a Scavalier in the back would have really messed us up in that one, though. So, yeah, we were lucky that that actually wasn't my opponent's last one. Because the Dynamax Scavalier just does so much damage to me, and I don't have much damage in return. Whereas Marowak, I do more damage with Moonblast and close combat. An Iron Head and whatnot. So, yeah. Alright. Going to get into our third game, though. Let's see what we're up against. Yeah. We've gone up against, a lot of, standard things so far. So, not things I'm really super surprised to see. Let's see. Okay. So, Whim. There's a Como, which is the main thing I'm looking at. I'm like, what? This feels like a Cobalion game though, honestly. Like Whim Cobalion on paper looks just really good here with Chandelier. We definitely need Chandelier, I think, for the Corviknight. And I'm thinking just Terrakion. Like Terrakion actually just does offensively so well in this matchup. So let's try it out. My opponent's team doesn't have any new Pokemon, so I'm curious what the strategy is. Oh, sorry, they have an Amoonguss, but everything else is old stuff. Yeah. Como is really interesting. It's a Pokemon that we haven't really seen at all this year. Like, I wanted to try it out, but its weakness to Fairy and Flying just makes it, like, so tough in this format, honestly. So, hopefully, with the idea behind this is... there's just so much offense coming up from Cobalion, Terrakion, and Chandelier. It should be relatively easy to get a beat-up off in this game as well. There might have been more reason to lead the Terrakion, though, mainly because I think the main threat on my opponent's team is actually going to be the Lapras, just going for Gigantamax and setting up Aurora Veil. Otherwise, you're not going to max Incineroar, Grimmsnarl, or Amoonguss the majority of the time. Of course, it could be offensive Incineroar, but like the assumption is that it's not. Como could max, but I don't think that actually scares me too much because we have a Whimsicott with Moonblast. That alone is already good offense, but we also have Cobalion with Max Airstream into that, so I'm not too scared about that. Corviknight could max, but I think we would win the matchup against Corviknight because like Beat Up just outpressures Corviknight basically. It's me Grimmsnarl and Incineroar, which is fine by me. I mean, we do get intimidated. I do have to worry, I guess, about the like Thunder Wave shenanigans. I think, honestly, turn 1, we just protect the Whimsicott to bypass the Fake Out and don't max the Cobalion and just, like, go for an attack with it. And I think what I want to do here is actually just KO the Grimmsnarl, because, like, the one thing I could see being frustrating in this game is if, like, both of my Pokemon both of my Cobalion and Terrakion end up getting paralyzed. So the idea behind this is I block a Fake Out turn 1, conserve my Focus Sash, even if you Thunder Wave me, whatever. I guess you could Flare Blitz here with Incineroar, but I don't think you ever go for the Fake Out onto the Cobalion. Yep, so there's Fake Out into Whimsicott. That's good. Probably Thunder Wave. Or just Reflect. Okay, that's fine by me. Huh, Reflect is interesting. Do you even have Thunder Wave? Probably, right? We actually still do some decent damage with Iron Hits. I'll take it. I mean, Moonblast probably just KOs Grimmsnarl here. However, I'm thinking of just Beat Up Close Combat into Incineroar. Yeah, that's fine by me. I mean, even with the Intimidate and the Reflect, it still KOs. So the only play I'm worried about is like Thunder Wave, but they're going to opt for Taunt. Okay, fine by me. I still get the Beat Up off. Yeah, I feel like the Taunt actually, I guess, works out for my opponent in this specific position. But, I mean, the only thing you're denying me is Tailwind. But is that really a big deal? I don't think so, right? Because the subsequent turn, like, I'm not maxing Cobalion here because, like, if I max it, it gets paralyzed, then I kind of waste my max. And in this position, I'm actually not getting any value out of maxing, which I think is actually a really important thing to point out. I think a lot of people often just want to Dynamax immediately, but the reason I'm not maxing here is because I know I'm not really at much threat of taking much damage from my opponent's Pokemon. And if I max and eat up a Thunder Wave, for example, that's really bad for us because if we get fully paralyzed, we're losing mileage out of our max. So we've seen Reflect and Taunt from the Grimmsnarl. I wouldn't be surprised to see like Fake Out, Foul Play, Swagger. Although I don't think there's really much you're swaggering on this team. So the big question I have is, do you even have Thunder Wave? Como comes out. Because now it's Shiny Como. That is so ugly. I'm content just clicking Moonblast, honestly. I do think I might max with the Cobalion now. You need Thunder Wave. But even with, like, even if you Thunder Wave the Cobalion and it hits and Como targets us, like, I just KO the Grimmsnarl with a Moonblast, right? So I'm fine just Airstreaming and Moonblasting here. This is exactly why I don't think Como's very good in general in this format when so many Pokemon are running Max Airstream. You have to respect it from Dragapult, the Cinderace. It's just one of the most flexible moves. Like, Airstream is just so strong, right? So it's like so many physical Pokemon are carrying it now, which makes it really tough. And then Como also has to deal with all the Fairy-type Pokemon in the format. Granted, there aren't that many, but you have to deal with Whimsicott, Togekiss, for example. Alright, no Thunder Wave comes out. Okay. No Max either, which I guess is surprising. Grimmsnarl does survive, but there's no way Como's surviving this. So, yeah, I mean, we could have maybe reversed it, gone for Moonblast onto the Como, but I was thinking Como maybe maxes there. And I actually don't know what's doing more, but I would think the Airstream does more there over the Moonblast. So the Grimstar is going for an offensive attack, which I have to say I wasn't expecting. My opponent has, Pokemon to max. They're going to just Spirit Break there. But yeah, Cobalion is obviously fine taking an attack like that. Okay. I mean, regardless of who's maxing at this point, Cobalion just beats it, right? Like, maybe, yeah, it's Lapras, which gets destroyed by Cobalion. So, I can pretty easily... I don't even think you have Thunder Wave then, honestly. We've seen Reflect, Fake Out... Sorry, no Fake Out. Reflect, Taunt, and Spirit Break. I would think Light Screen, if you're running one of the screens, you normally want both with Light Clay. But I'm fine just going for Knuckle here and Moonblast. Because Lapras, like, at this point, all I need to do is just get in Terrakion as well. Even with Lapras maxing, I can just beat up the Terrakion in close combat. So, yeah. I think the matchup on paper looked really good here. The only thing I was worried about is, yeah, my opponent ends up forfeiting. The only thing I was really worried about was just, like, Thunder Wave shenanigans. But once again, this is why I think Cobalion is, like, a really solid Pokemon in this format. As you can see, like, we prioritize maxing the Cobalion over the Terrakion in both games because, or really in all the games, because... yeah, Terrakion just is a lot frailer, and if it's like you need to kind of get a beat up off. If not, then like it's at like potential of getting just knocked out. Honestly, I think Terrakion would have worked out as a lead in that last one as well, but like that Corviknight scared me a little bit, and I was like, I think Terrakion is actually better suited as a late game sweeper, not as a max Pokemon. And Terrakion's really interesting because like, yeah, Dynamax Terrakion sounds really strong, but then like you're relegated to using a weaker Max Knuckle instead of close combat, and then Rock Slide, which is actually one of Terrakion's best attacks, turns into Max Rockfall, which is obviously single target, which actually I think could work against your favor. So yeah, I mean, today's episode just highlights why I think I really believe in Cobalion. It's obviously early in the meta, but it shows you different ways you can get it set up, and if you get that beat up off, it's just in a really phenomenal position to potentially sweep through. So yeah, I think that gets us to Ultra Ball. So hopefully we can get to Master Ball in the next episode, if not at least the one after that. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Feel free to try out the team yourselves if you are interested. Once again, the code is linked in the description below, as well as a Showdown export. Thanks to Rob Raff once again for building the team in game. So yeah, we're at Ultra Ball tier now, a couple wins away from Master Ball tier. So excited to get to Master Ball and then see what teams are waiting for us there. But yeah, it's gonna be this episode, guys. Thank you so much as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, peace.